Alright guys, welcome to the third video tutorial on the Arduino Uno Wi-Fi board. So in this tutorial I'm going to be talking about fading LEDs. Sorry for the first tutorial because the quality wasn't that good. I'll make sure that this one is pretty good. But the first tutorial was pretty easy. I'll just try to explain it in this video. But the for loops, don't go into that. I was just like, just wanted to give you guys a head start. So first of all, let's do the connections. We need an LED right here. Let's connect that just like that to the breadboard. A breadboard is a place where you connect things, like connect the electrical stuff. And connect the resistor, which is used to protect the LED from overpower, inside of there. And its lead should go to the straight one, which is the longer lead of the LED to the negative rail, and then connect the negative rail like that to ground, which is a negative on the Arduino board. As you can see, it's that one right there. And connect this one. Because we want the LED to fade, the LED should be plugged into a special pin called a PWM pin. So what a PWM pin does is it allows it, instead of just on and off, it's going to adjust its value. Like, it's going to adjust its brightness, which is what we want when we fade it. So you gotta connect that to pin 9 like that. Okay, so that's pin 9 if you can't see, but yeah, that's pin 9. So now I'm gonna switch it to the, well, let me just cancel this code we don't want to see right now. You go right there. Alright, looking neat. So I have a bonus content. So how to change the font in the Arduino IDE. So what you gotta do is first go to File, Preferences, click on that Preferences sheet, close this and close this. You don't want the Arduino file to be open, and we don't want that too, okay? And we don't want that, and we want that, yeah. So enlarge it and scroll down to font. You will see something. I changed to Lucida console. It's really good. Just gonna change the bold to plain because bold is too, too big and dark and all that. So do save as and then yes and replace it and then close it. Go to Arduino application.org application once more. And well, it didn't. I think it did change. Well, it didn't. So that's how you do. I'll change it later probably, but okay, for now, let's go on to this tutorial. First, what we want to do is you have to declare a few variables, alright? Let me write this code in a different editor because it's too freakish. Cancel and save as Arduino.cpp desktop. Alright, close that. Okay, so I think you can see it properly. Yep, you can. Alright, so now what you're going to do is declare an integer. We want the integer to be called as the fade amount. So this says how much the LED should fade. So what we want the program to do is make the LED from lower intensity to a higher intensity. So like less bright and then brighter, you know. So next, this is the fade amount, so that's going to be 5. We want the LED to be brighter by 5 points each time, and we want to declare another variable called brightness. Misspelled it. Can't type today. Brightness to 0. This is how bright the LED will be. and then another integer which is gonna store the LED pin, which is a LED, and pin number 9, because pin 9 is a PWM pin, which allows allows the LED to change its brightness. BRAGHT, but it doesn't really matter right now. Let's go into void setup. Let's initialize the pin mode as you have seen in the last video, but if you could not see it properly, then what pin mode does is it takes the LED's pin and then it sets it as an output or an input. So what we want to do is set the LED pin, and we want it to be an output because, you know, LED produces light and does not take in and give in something. So that's what we want. And next go and do the void loop part, which is the main part of the program. So first of all, we want the LED to glow. So what we gotta do, because it's in a PWM pin, you have to do something called analog write. Analog write. So what this thing does is it, instead of just 1 and 0, it gives it a value of 0 to 255. So this 0 is least bright and 255 is the brightest the LED can go. So we want it to we first have to put the LED pin, and then we want the brightness as its value. Well, we want it to be brightness as its value. Change that because it's going to cost that same thing. Alright. So why brightness? Because the brightness is for 0. You will understand in the next line. Brightness is equal to brightness plus fade amount. So what this does is it takes brightness, which is 0, and adds 5 onto it. So now brightness is 5. And then again in the loop it goes, so now the LED is going to be 5. It's going to be brighter than the last time. And then now it's 5, so 5 equals 5 plus 5, which is 10. So brightness is now 10. And then 10 equals 10 plus 5, and then brightness becomes 15 until it is 255. If it crosses 255, then it's going to give us an error. So we don't want that to happen. So we got to do an if statement. What an if statement does is it checks for something. If this is true, then do this. If that's false, then do that, okay? So what we want to do is if brightness is equal to 0, or, let me just say what that is later. Brightness is equal to 255, then you have to make fade amount into negative fade amount. And then let's delay that by 30. Okay, so what this block of code does is, first it checks whether the brightness is 0. We want equal to because it's checking for it. This equal to means we are setting it. This equal to means it's checking for it. If the brightness is 0, or, that means or, okay? So if the brightness is 0, or if the brightness is 255, then make fade, or 255, then make fade amount to negative fade amount. So if it is 0, then it's gonna make it, okay, so think about this like this. Okay, so brightness, if the brightness is 255, then it's gonna make fade amount, which is 5, to negative 5. So it's gonna subtract 5 all the time, so now it's gonna go less brighter. Now if it is 0, then it's gonna make negative 5 into positive 5. So it's going to add 5 each time, okay? So it either adds a 5 or subtracts a 5 each time, depending upon whether it's a 0 or 255. If it is a 0, it's going to add, because when it goes down, which is -5, then when it reaches 0, it's going to make -5 into +5. If you don't get it, then you got to go through the logic by writing it down on a piece of paper, by putting like theta in one column and brightness is one column, and then you got to compare and then write it down. If you do get it, then it's really good that you get it. And now let's go ahead and test the code. Let's go to the Arduino IDE and copy, paste that inside of there. Let me plug in my Arduino into the laptop. Okay, it's plugged in. And let me run this. I don't need to save it. Hope there are no errors. Very nice. Let me check if this is still running. Yep, it is. Let me show you what is happening out there. As you can see, it's glowing bright and then going down. Glowing bright, going down. So that was a pretty easy code in C. So if you didn't get it, please contact me through mail or the comments. And thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for my next videos.